What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2001 movie Rockstar. The two big actors in this movie are Mark Wahlberg and Jenifer Aniston. They're the two big stars of this film. But there are other stars as well, especially the name Rockstar. You know, it's about the rock star experience, and there's some actual rock stars that are in this movie. Jason Bonham, for example, the son of John Bonham, John Bonham was known as the drummer for Led Zeppelin, my favorite band, by the way. Jason Bonham himself, for those of you who don't know, he was a drummer for Black Country Communion, drummer for Foreigner, so followed in his father's footsteps there. And he played for Zeppelin as well in one of their reunion concerts. I think it was 2007. But anyway, he's one of the rock stars that actually plays a character in the movie, a drummer. Zakk Wylde is also another actor in this movie, another rock star in this movie. I think he plays a member of Mark Wahlberg's character. His name's Chris Cole. His tribute band. I'll get more into the plot afterwards, but Zakk Wylde is another one. He's the head of Black Label Society, the band, and he was a guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, which is pretty neat. But anyway, this movie got a 52% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was a better movie than 52%, but I will get into that in my review. So, this movie details the life of Chris Cole, played by Mark Wahlberg, as I said, who has actually a tribute band that he's doing with his bandmates called Steel, and I gotta look up the name every time because I forget it. Steel Dragon, or the band's name, or the band that they're tributing, is Steel Dragon, Steel Dragon. But their tribute band is actually called Blood Pollution, and it comes from one of their songs. One of Blood Pollution's songs. I think Steel Dragon is fictional. But anyway, this movie details, at first, Chris Cole and his band, and they're a successful tribute band. They draw in large crowds and all that sort of thing. And Mark Wahlberg's character, Chris Cole, is accompanied by his girlfriend. I believe her name is Emily. She is played by the lovely Jenifer Aniston. She was good in this movie. But anyway, it details the life of the tribute band. Chris Cole is very serious about the whole tribute band experience. He's very precise. He wants to play all of Steel Dragon's songs note for note, very, very accurately, basically. Some of the bandmates, they just want to play for the fun of it, really. And Chris Cole gets into an argument with one of his bandmates, and then it results in Chris Cole getting kicked out of Blood Pollution. He's kicked out, and what's worse is that the person who's replacing Chris Cole is actually a rival from another Steel Dragon tribute band. His biggest rival there, so that's a big punch in the face there. But anyway, he has to move on, and actually he's down in the dumps until he gets a call from Steel Dragon's lead person, the leader of Steel Dragon, who is the bassist, I believe. and he's asking for auditions. You know, he asks Chris Cole, come to LA for auditions. We want, we want to find a lead singer. So the thing is, he goes to LA and he auditions, but then there's a little interruption from Steel Dragon's current lead singer, who actually is being kicked out of the band because he is a closeted gay man. Which I think is, when I saw it, I didn't know. When I watched the movie in this part, I did not know that they were kicking him out because he was gay. But when I went back on the plot, I look back at the plot every time, plots of movies every time before I do reviews like this. They said, he was kicked out of the band because he was gay, closeted gay, and that's just, I think it's really a good thing to have, to show, rock stars are manly men, they get down and dirty, grunge, music, with their music and stuff like that. They're men's men. And I think it was good to have that story that the guy was gay. But I think it adds something to the movie itself. Not saying that it's not okay, that it's okay to be, not saying that being gay is bad. Oh, it's terrible. But I think it's a good thing to add into the story to give it more dynamic. If you know what I mean, really, by that. But anyway, Chris Cole, he wins the audition, and he is the new singer of Steel Dragon. And at first, there's a lot of success in this band. They're at their peak. They're probably at their pretty big peak in popularity. Chris Cole really is a good addition to the band. They're living the rock star dream. With that comes a lot of sex, a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, and a lot of rock and roll. The three big things of rock and roll: drugs, sex, and rock and roll. So there's definitely drugs. He's drugged out of his mind, and drinking a lot of sex. He has sex with a lot of groupies, and he is doing a lot of rock and roll. So, it details, this really paints a picture of how Chris Cole comes from this really excited guy, really serious type of guy, to a druggy addict, basically. And because of this, he loses his girlfriend, Emily. Emily's really, Emily and him are really in love with each other. They're a great couple. But she's grown tired of his rock star lifestyle and the perks that come with it, like having sex with groupies, with other people and things like that, and the drugs and the rock and roll. They broke up because he promised to meet up with her in Seattle to get back together, because they were on a little break, and he unfortunately was drugged out of his mind. He was drunk. There was a groupie that was pretty anxious to have sex with him. Is like, excuse me, I want to have sex with Chris Cole now, please. He's kind of the lead singer. It's kind of a big deal. But anyway, Emily's really sick and tired of it, and as a result, she breaks up with Chris Cole, and he is down in the dumps because of it. Chris Cole bonds with his road manager, who's also Steel Dragon's road manager, who's also, he had problems with his woman. He walked out on her one day, to live a rock dream, basically, and he lost her, and he doesn't, I guess he kind of encourages Chris Cole to not make the same mistake he did, and go get his woman back. And they share a bonding moment over it. Plus, Chris Cole wants to create his own music, but he discovers he's been hired by the band just to sing the tunes, not make the tunes. Steel Dragon, they say, Chris, you can't write new music because we're trying to capture the sound of Steel Dragon. We're trying to keep it the same. We don't want any radical departures or anything like that. So Chris Cole is really mad that he can't do this and that he can't make his own music, establish his own identity with Steel Dragon. So one night, they're in concert, and there's this van actually played by Miles Kennedy. Miles Kennedy is a guitarist for Slash and his band. Also, he was in the band Alter Bridge with 3 members of Creed. And the Mayfield 4, I think, was one of his earlier projects. But anyway, Miles Kennedy's character... Chris Cole allows Miles Kennedy's character to come up on stage, basically, and perform the song. Perform a song. And then Chris Cole leaves. He says goodbye. He has a heartfelt goodbye with the band manager. And he up and leaves. And that's the end of his tenure in Steel Dragon. And anyway, he goes back to Seattle. He goes to Seattle, I believe it is. Or goes back home, and he is determined to create his own identity. He meets up with an old bandmate of his, and they start a new band. And they're pretty small scale. They play in clubs and stuff like that. But this is something he wants. And he performs in a club. Actually, he sees his ex-girlfriend Emily, who's running a business with her girlfriend, and girlfriend as in friend, that's a girl, and and at first he's ashamed of talking to her. He doesn't want to go. He embarrassed himself in front of her. Obviously, he's too ashamed to face her, so he doesn't. But then one night, Emily comes into a club showing of Chris Cole's new band. And then they reunite and share a kiss, and that's the end of the movie right there. This was a great movie. I thought it was a really good depiction of the rock star lifestyle, the advantages that come with being a great rock star, and the disadvantages like the drugs and the sex. Well, not so much sex as much as drugs. Well, sex too, because, obviously Chris Cole lost his girlfriend partly because of the sex with the groupies, basically. So, this movie really captures it. The movie's not so much about the heavy metal scene as it is about the drugs, the sex, the behind-the-scenes kind of thing of being a rock star, and the concerts and all that kind of stuff, too. The rockin' concerts. So I can understand why people gave this 52%, but I wouldn't give it 52%. The 52% was the rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That being said, I give star ratings, so, as you well know, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought this was the perfect depiction of a rock star movie. Mark Wahlberg was great as Chris Cole. Jenifer Aniston played a good girlfriend to Chris Cole, Emily. When I watched this movie, I didn't really see any of the rock stars in the movie as they were. But this movie is about Mark Wahlberg and Jenifer Aniston. That's essentially what this movie is. Those are the 2 lead actors in the movie. So I give this a 5 out of 5 stars, a great watch. And that's it for my video. D-Rock 1992 out.